day to be a Hawk. Mrs. Hersberg told somebody on the way in, this is one of my favorite days of the entire school year. And that person responded, and it's not even Friday. Before Christmas break, even. We are excited to have a gym full of people here, and we're more excited to honor our academic successes of our students, which, as you can see, we have a whole lot of academic successes. So we're going to go ahead and get started today. The first one we're going to recognize is our state assessment. And our state assessment actually changed names last year. It changed from NISA to NSCAS. And one of the reasons this assembly is happening so late in the year is that we just received our NSCAS results. Those of you that took it last March, April, or May. So that's a really long time to grade that paper. Have you ever had a teacher wait that long to grade your paper? Nah, I hope not. I hope not, okay? So we're going to go ahead and start with our NSCAS awards. And we do have a slideshow that's playing back here, which will help give you a little more information about each of the things we're going to recognize today. So NSCAS stands for Nebraska Student-Centered Assessment System. Long name, right? And we test students in grades 3 through 8 on NSCAS, and we give them a test in ELA, which is English Language Arts, math, and then science is taken in grades 5th and 8th. And this year, we are recognizing students who received a level that's called College Career Ready, or CCR. And we have 14 students that took the assessment that are actually going to receive a medal today. So, what I'm going to ask is when we do our medal presentation, if you're one of the medal recipients and your name is called, let's just hold our applause until the very end, and we'll recognize all of our recipients at the very end with applause. Okay? All right, so our first one, and I'm going to start with what would have been last year's third graders. Okay, they're in 4th grade this year because they took it last year as 3rd graders. So know that I don't have your grade wrong. Okay? So 3rd graders last year, our first winner is Jaden Badencourt. Jaden, come on down. Jaden, okay, we're going to go ahead and wait and clap at the very end, okay? So Jaden, you're going to come right over here. Jaden is receiving a medal for his score in ELA. Our next recipient is Riley Scheidemann. Riley is receiving his medal in the area of mathematics. And our last 3rd grader from last year that's receiving a medal is Cameron Schultz. And Cameron's medal is in the area of ELA. Moving on, we did not have any 4th graders that were in that category last year, but we did have some 5th graders last year that are now in the 6th grade. And that individual is Macy Miller. And Macy actually was College Career Ready in ELA, math, and in science. She exceeded the level of proficiency. Right, last year's 6th graders, so you would have been in Mrs. Christensen's classroom last year, guys. And now you're sitting on this side of the auditorium. We're in 7th grade now, okay? So my 7th graders, last year's 6th grade, Kaden Block. Kaden, remember we're waiting on our applause. I'm glad you're excited. Kaden Block is receiving his medal in the area of mathematics. Braden Dozie. Braden is receiving a medal in the area of ELA and mathematics. Danny Dowling. Danny is receiving a medal in the area of ELA and mathematics. And our last student that was in last year's 6th grade class is Landon Gardner. Landon is receiving a medal in the area of mathematics. Moving on, our next grade level, we have last year's 7th graders, so this year's 8th grade. We have Jackson Block. Jackson is receiving a medal in the area of ELA. And our next 7th grader from last year is Lillian Dozy. And Lillian is receiving a medal in the area of mathematics. Our last grade level would be this year's freshman class, last year's 8th grade class. All right, our first winner is Jessie Dowling. Jessie is receiving a medal in the area of ELA. Next recipient is Kaylee Joseph. Kaylee is receiving a medal in the area of ELA. Kaylee, you look surprised. Congratulations, young lady. Thomas Lawson. Thomas is receiving a medal in the area of ELA. And our last recipient for NSCAS is Clayton Went. Is he sick today? Okay, well Clayton, we're going to hear Clayton's name several times. I'm going to read his. Clayton Went is actually receiving a medal in all three of his subject areas, ELA, math, and science. So we'll make sure Clayton gets his medal. All right, so let's take a moment and let's give these guys a round of applause. All right, you guys can go ahead and be seated. And as they're making their way back to their seats, I'm going to ask Mrs. Editor to come up, and she's going to take over on National Honor Society. And students at Hampton, one thing at the end, we're going to take one group picture for the newspaper of all of our medals as well.
All right, for National Honor Society, our students need to have a cumulative GPA of a 92% or higher after their first 3 semesters. So the first time that they can get inducted into National Honor Society is after the first semester of their sophomore year, okay? And then they can also still make National Honor Society all the way through their senior year at the end of each semester if their cumulative GPA reaches that 92% or higher. They also need to be in one activity at least, which isn't hard here because all our kids are in multiple activities. We also look for leadership and character and service. And then if they are a National Honor Society, they need to maintain their 92% or above GPA. So, with that said, I'd like to call down our National Honor Society kids. We have Ian Rarick, you can come down in purple line. Bethany Dowling, Trevor Keeper, Jalen Arndt, Samantha Gertson, Emily Wishman, Lydia Dozy, Rachel Russ, and Madison Brown. So for you sophomores, I'll be looking at your GPAs after the end of the semester, and induction is usually around the first part of February. So we look forward to inducting new members.
Okay, next I'm going to have Mr. Richards come down. And Mr. Richards and Mrs. Ferris both work with our HAL students, and HAL stands for the High Ability Learner Group. He's going to talk a little bit about that, and then also about robotics.
Okay. So our HAL group, our High Ability Learners, are identified based on their math performance. They need to score in the 90th percentile or above, at least on one of the subtests of math, science, reading, or language. They can also be identified if they score in the 80 to 90%, but then they need to be also recommended by 2 or more teachers. So when I call, we have 3 different programs. I'm also Mrs. Ferris today. So when I call the elementary kids, if you just stand and be recognized. Our elementary health students are Cole Rolenfeld, Mason Wines, Brady Walensky, J.D. Bettencourt, Jillian Ferris, Riley Scheidman, Cameron Schultz, J.J. Gertson, Kobe Bowman, Cash Majerus, Macy Miller, and Coral Ann Van Lander. grade meet on Thursdays. Our elementary house students participate in a weekly service project collecting the school's paper for recycling. We owe a big thank you to Mr. Sharp for delivering the paper to Aurora every week. Our house students began the year constructing and designing a pitched musical instrument. Each instrument was designed by the following specific criteria. Once students finished their assignments, then they composed a melody and shared it with the group. Both groups have now moved on into a book club format before tackling another STEM project in the spring. The 3rd and 4th grade group is reading The Great Brain, while the 5th and 6th grade group is reading Fever 1793. Our junior high group, and again, when I call your name, go ahead and stand. Eli Hart, Braden Dozie, Daniel Dowling, Peyton Block, Jackson Block, Lillian Dozie, Nathan Gerson, Grant Ferguson, Landon Gardner, and Lauren John. Our junior group has been working on a variety of projects ranging from 3D printing, programming, circuit construction, and web design. Our high school group stand to be recognized: Jesse Dowling, Thomas Lawson, Emma Stone, Clayton Wendt, Jake Arndt, McKenna Clinch, Belinda Montoya, Lydia Dozie, Christian Eckhart, Bethany Dowling, Sam Gertson, Trevor Beaker, and Ian Rare. Our secondary group within the regular classroom. They also have an opportunity for advanced placement courses and extracurricular activities. Students may participate in academic quiz bowl, robotics, take advanced courses, and/or college level courses. Leadership opportunities are also available in the clubs and organizations, as well as opportunities and recognition from outside agencies. Thank you. Robotics has been amazing so far this year. I'll call your name and stand and be recognized. Melinda Montoya, and they're all ranging teams, so I'll range. This is Team Triggered. Melinda Montoya, McKenna Clinch, Tyson Galinsky, Landon Parsley, and Justin Gyra. The Quack Doctors are Emma Stump, Jenna Hansen, Abby Wendt, and Shayna Clooney. Hawknet, Clayton Wendt, Michael McFarland, Edward Van Landingham, and Corbin Stump. And then Soul Reapers, which is not my favorite name, but Soul Reapers is Jordan Martin, Christian Eckhart, and Kate Long. They've been very successful this year. I have a total of 16 kids in robotics, so we have 4 individual teams. They've worked on a game called Turning Point, gathered plans and ideas for the school year. So far, we participated in 2 competitions. All the robots, for the most part, have qualified for finals. Robotics members meet up to 2 to 3 times a week in the evening to work in our actual this year robotics room, which is amazing. An individual robotics team consists of a programmer, a driver, and then the engineers who have to communicate with each other about the robot and how to go about creating it or improving on it. We're very thankful this year to have our room and field to work in and hope to show the school a strong year in robotics. Our regular season continues through the month of February and then can extend to a regional competition and national competition, depending on how the robot performs during the year. Our goal is to keep improving until the final match, whenever that may arrive. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Richards. Next it is my honor to welcome back the 2008 valedictorian. And Dylan, I did go back in the yearbook and find just a few pictures of him that I thought maybe some of you would find of interest. So you can put a connection with this guy. If you don't know Dylan, he went to school with Mr. Edgar, who happens to be in one of those pictures. They do kind of look the same. I've been told they had a really cool junior high math teacher that maybe really impacted their life. I'm not sure about it. But anyway, we're excited to have you back, Dylan, and sharing some of your thoughts about how high school prepared you for academic success.
Thank you, Mr. Edgar. I'm going to walk around. This is going to be pretty informal. I'm Dylan Baumsberger, graduated in 2008. I was involved with sports, high school quiz bowl, drama. I did not take speech. That would have really came in handy for today. I should have thought that through a little bit. But all of those things, along with classroom time, helped shape what I believe is a successful version of myself. And that word, success, is kind of what I would like to talk about. I have a list here of talking points that I'm probably going to deviate from a little bit, but all of the things on this list I feel like have helped me become my version of successful. Over here, little kids. Show of hands, how many of you know exactly what you want to be when I'm 29 years old? When you're 29 years old, how many of you know exactly what you want to be? That's what I thought too. I knew exactly what I wanted to be when I was in second, third, and fourth grade. As a veterinarian, I believed that all the way through high school. I went to the University of Nebraska and enrolled in the pre-vet program because I had teachers like Mr. Richards, Mr. Alexander, a lot of them that have retired since then, so I'm getting old, that helped me believe that I could be in that program. Turns out science in college is really hard, and I wasn't mature enough at that point to get myself through that. One regret was that. A lot of things have happened since then. I worked for Pioneer for 5 years in the commercial industry. Big business is what I like to call it. It wasn't for me. Now I found my calling. I work with my dad, construction, all of them, and I love it. And I hope for you guys that you can find a way to get to a point where you love what you do. One of the things that I learned from my teachers and my peers, classmates, Mr. Edgar, work ethic, working together. That is a great way to achieve your goals and to become successful. Respect is another thing on my list. Respecting others, respecting yourself, that helps tremendously with keeping you on the right path to achieve your goals. Networking and relationship development. Something also Mr. Seaman and Mr. Miller, Mr. Seaman's retired math teacher, by the way, they helped me with my FFA degrees and all of that, and introduced me to the people in the FFA, the high school FFA stuff that kind of led me to make a college change from pre-vet to agronomy. I was just dead set on that. But it didn't happen. But the networking and the people, the value of those relationships still affects me to this day, those people. Another thing on my list is opportunities and hardships and how those times are handled. Life presents you with opportunities. That goes back to work ethic. If you have an opportunity in front of you, go after it. Work hard for it to maintain that opportunity. If you have, and on the other side of that, hardships. You're You're at rock bottom and you gotta work your way out of it. Keep after it. Go to the grind. Okay? And then, like all of these things, value your teachers. They care about this success, right? They're going to put the tools in front of you to make you the best you and to be as successful as you can be. All right? I know sometimes, I remember those days where it's just, oh, I don't want to do any more math homework, or I don't want to do any more science projects, I don't want to write that term paper. Trust me, you will look back on these days and cherish them for the rest of your lives. It's a great day to be a Hawk. Thank you.
Thank you, Dylan, for sharing that message with us. He said a lot of really great things that we'll take with us, and we appreciate you sharing that. All right, let's move on and do some more medals, shall we? Thank you, Devin. Yeah, let's do some more medals. All right. So we're going to move on to math, which is measures of academic progress. Elementary students, some of you just did some math testing in your classrooms. I know, because I've seen some of you in the office doing that. So what we're going to recognize first is we're going to start with the high schoolers this time. And, sorry, Mrs. Arm, threw a curveball at you. We're going to start on the high school side. And we're going to recognize students that scored at the 90th percentile in 2 subjects at least, maybe more. And for those people that don't know, the math assessment measures student performance against every other student in the nation that takes this test. The first set of medals was just Nebraska kids. Now it's kids all over the nation. So that means if you're in the 90th percentile, you're scoring better than 90% of the kids taking that test in the nation, which is truly amazing when you stop and think of that. So, and we've got a lot of kids on that list. So here we go, get started. Our first winner, and again, we'll hold our applause until everyone's got their medal for math. Our first winner is in the 10th grade, and that is McKenna Clinch. McKenna scored 98th percentile in math, 96th percentile in reading, 93rd percentile in language, and the 90th percentile in science. We'll work on that last step, okay, McKenna? All right. 9th graders, Jessie Dowling. Jessie scored in the 96th percentile in reading and the 96th percentile in science. Thomas Lawson. Thomas scored in the 94th percentile in reading, 96th in math, 93rd in language, 99th in science. Well done. Emma Stump. Emma scored in the 93rd percentile in reading, 91st in language, 95th in science. Clayton Wendt, who I know is sick, but we'll still read his scores, 99th in reading, 97th in math, 94th in language, 98th in science. 8th grade, Jackson Block. Jackson scored in the 91st percentile in math and the 98th percentile in science. 7th graders, Lauren John. Lauren scored in the 90th percentile in math and the 90th percentile in language. Grant Ferguson. Grant scored in the 94th percentile in math and the 97th percentile in science. Braden Nosey. Braden scored in the 90th percentile in math, 92nd in language, 94th in science. Danny Dowling. Danny scored in the 93rd in reading and the 90th percentile in language. Okay, on to the 6th graders. 6th graders, Macy Miller. Macy scored in the 93rd percentile in reading, 91st in math, and 92nd in science. Skip down to 4th grade. In 4th grade, we have Jaden Batencourt. Jaden scored in the 98th percentile in reading and the 98th percentile in science. And in the third grade, and this is where our medals start, is in the third grade, because in K1-2 we do some reading to them, some oral, we do some switches over. So third grade is when this actually starts. Mason Weems. Mason scored in the 94th percentile in mathematics and the 90th percentile in language. And Braden Walensky. Braden scored in the 91st percentile in math, 91st percentile in reading, and the 94th percentile in language. All right, I'm gonna have you guys stay here, but let's give these guys a round of applause. And then we're gonna add a few to this group, okay? The next group are still students that took their math assessment, but they showed growth. And what I mean by that is their score grew by a certain number of points, which is what we're always looking for. We're looking for students to get better and grow in their performance. So they may not have been at the 90th percentile, but for them, they made progress, and that's what we're looking for. And there are a couple of you up here that I'm going to read your name again. I'm not going to give you another medal, but it's truly amazing that kids in the 90th percentile can grow 10 or more points on their score. I'm not sure how they did that, but quite amazing. All right, starting in high school again, and you had to do this in at least 2 tests. Our first person was Jordan Martin. Jordan improved her reading test score by 11 points and her math test score by 10. Our second recipient is Paige Shashasky. Is Paige sick today? Darn it, okay, that's all right, we're still gonna read Pages. Paige improved her reading test score by 18 points and her language score by 25 points. So outstanding job. Melinda Montoya. Melinda improved her reading by 12 points, her math by 14, and her science by 15 points. Landon Parsley. Landon improved his reading by 21 points and his language by 11 points. Do we have to work on that last step again over there? All right, Jesse Dowling. And Jesse, where are you at? You're not going to get another medal, but Jesse, I want you to be recognized for this. Jesse, you improved your reading score by 21 points and math by 10. So outstanding job. Clayton Went, who's not here, improved language by 10 and science by 11. On to my junior high kiddos. Eli Arndt. Eli improved his math score by 20 points and his science score by 15 points. And Danny Dowling, you already have your medal, Danny, but I'm going to recognize you again, Danny. You improved reading by 11 and math by 18 points. Nice job. Hayden Ferris. Hayden improved his math score by 12 points and his language score by 10 points. Taylor Majerus. Taylor improved her reading score by 10 points, her language score by 15 points, and her science score by 10 points. Nice job, all 3 areas. And Lillian Dozie. Lillian improved her reading by 11, her math by 18 points. Shayna Clutie, I think she's sick today too. Yep, Shayna improved her math by 24, her language by 15, and her science by 10. And our last junior high student is Jacob Wishman. And Jacob improved his math score by 15 points and his science score by 12. Okay, switching over to my elementary most improved kiddos on math. Gavin Gilmore. Gavin improved her reading score by 11, her math score by 10, and her science score by 12 points. Zane Quinn. Zane, you may be my only person that improved all 4 areas. Zane improved reading by 15, math by 13, science by 13, and 11 in language. Well done, Zane. All right, Blake Brown. Blake improved his reading by 15 points and his math by 10 points. JJ Gertson. Jeremiah improved his reading by 14 points, his math by 26 points, and 10 points on his language. Good job. Kirsten Hirsch. Kirsten improved her reading by 13 points, her math by 10 points, and her language by 14. Tyler Molovic. Tyler improved his math score by 20 points and his language score by 13 points. Jenna Shashasky. Jenna improved her reading score by 21 points and math by 10 points. Nice job. Miss LeBray, was that your group last year? Wow. Congratulations, Miss LeBray. Look at that. Outstanding growth. This is growth, improvement from one year to the next. Okay? All right, from my place again. All right, moving on here to the next grade. My last one was Jenna, right? Okay. Jillian Ferris. Jillian improved her reading score by 11 and her language by 16. Kinley Joseph. Kinley improved her reading by 12, her math by 13, and her language by 11 points. Creighton Majerus. Creighton, I think this is the highest number of improvement. He improved his reading score by 34 points. Nice job, Creighton. And you did your math, 28-point improvement, and your language, 13 points. Kyler Wojcicki. Kyler improved his reading by 18 points, math by 12 points, language by 13 points. And my last recipient is Riley Scheidemann. Riley improved his math score by 10 points and his language score also by 10 points. Wow, look at this group. These are our most improved for math as well as our 90th percentile kiddos. Let's give these guys a hand. Nice job. All right, you guys can head back to your seats. And as they're heading back, Mr. Miller will be making his way down. Mr. Miller will be talking a little bit about the FFA students. Also, I mentioned I put in a plug here for the FFA. He still has some fruit for sale. If anyone's still looking for some extra fruit, might be able to pick some up.
Thank you. I don't have much left. I got a little bit left in the shop, so if you need some fruit, visit with me afterwards, and I'll let you know what I have. So, FFA, we had our leadership development events last Wednesday, a week ago, and so I just wanted to recognize those students that participated in those and let everybody know how they did. They already got their awards and their ribbons for that. Unfortunately, the teams, they just get one ribbon, so I have those. So, but I did want to at least share how they did. So I'll start with the FFA creed. So you can just stand and be recognized. Thomas Lawson and Emma Stump both gave the creed, represent our chapter, and they both got red ribbons. Congratulations. And we'll go down that list because my notes are in a little different order. Chapter conduct of meetings, which is a parliamentary procedure for younger members. So our freshman class had a team of 7, and those members were Thomas Lawson, Clayton Went, Jenna Hansen, Drake Schaefer, Kylie Mersch, Emma Stump, and Jesse Dowling. And they received a blue ribbon. Very good, talented group there. Our district is really tough in parliamentary procedure, so I'm really proud of how they did. We'll go to senior parliamentary procedure. I actually had 2 teams, and this could be sophomores through seniors. So Hampton Team 1, which was seniors, Joy Bonsberger, Jacob Mosbury, Brady Clooney, Ian Rarick, Sammy Gertson, and Ruth Masson. They received a red ribbon. And also Hampton Team 2, which was sophomores, and they met with me at lunch for quite a few lunch meetings leading up to that. That included McKenna Clinch, Maya Lewis, Christian Eckhart actually filled in for Kellen Ferris that day, last minute, Tasha Patton, Melinda Montoya, and Sarah Logue, and they received a red ribbon. And we'll move on to natural resource speaking. Rachel Rust gave a very good speech on on wildfires. Ended up 5th in our district and got a blue ribbon. Very good speech there. Employment skills, we had 2 in employment skills. Lydia Dozie made finals, ended up in 4th place, got a purple ribbon. And then also Madison Brown, I don't know if she's here. Yes, she is back. She wasn't in class today, so I'm sure. She got a red ribbon also in the employment skills, where they prepare a resume, send that in advance, and they go through an interview process. Very good skill to have as they leave and move on to other things in the future. So, junior public speaking, also making finals, Melinda Montoya with a great speech on foodborne illnesses. I wouldn't suggest listening to it right before you eat lunch or anything. She made finals, got 4th place, and she did very well with that speech. She did a very good job in preparation. And then extemporaneous speaking, our one qualifier, Christian Eckhart, ended up getting 2nd in extemp speaking, and will represent our chapter and state in that contest. So, again, very proud of the efforts of those kids last Wednesday. A lot of purple ribbons, a lot of good comments from the critiques from the judges, so I'm really proud of their efforts. So, Mrs. Gerson, she read through, listened to a few speeches, so I want to thank her, and also Mr. Siemens not here, but he came in and listened to a lot of speeches that we prepared for that contest as well. So, thank you again, FFA members, good job.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. I'm going to invite Ms. Crawley down, and Ms. Crawley is going to share about the Character Award winners.
I wanted to thank you again for all coming, supporting our students in their academic achievements. This year, Cornerstone Bank will be sponsoring 10 Character Awards for the 2018-19 school year, and each recipient will receive a roll of gold coins valued at $10. Students must be nominated by a Hampton staff member using the provided criteria, which you can see up on the screen. And students K-12 can be nominated. So let's move on to the good stuff. All right. Our first recipient always has a smile on her face and is helpful. She is tremendous help with the younger students in the cafeteria. She is trustworthy, honest, and caring. Our first recipient is Coraline Van Landy. Our next recipient comes to class each day with a positive attitude and a smile on her face. She is honest, reliable, and respectful. She works to always submit assignments on time and done correctly to the best of her ability. Our next recipient is Emily Wishman. Our next recipient is an absolute joy to have on the band route in the morning. She always comes with a positive attitude and passes that along to the other students. She helps students get along and she calms situations down. She helps younger students fasten seatbelts and close doors. She listens to others and helps them feel important. This recipient is Nevia Lucasen. Our next recipient always has a smile on her face and a positive attitude. No matter what the challenge or task, she does it to the best of her ability without complaining. She is responsible and very trustworthy. Her attitude is always pleasant and she is always thinking of others before herself. She is a team player at all times and listens well. Our next recipient is Melinda Montoya. Our last recipient for this semester is a responsible student inside and outside the classroom. She makes good choices that will benefit her in the future. She comes to class each day willing to work on what is set before her and uses her time wisely. She is respectful to those around her and has a positive attitude. The last recipient is Jalen Arndt.
before I recognize the students that are involved in the many activities we have to offer here, would not be made possible with the coaches and sponsors that put forth the amount of time that they do to set our kids up, not only for academic success, not only for the sponsorship type of success, but just for setting up the life lessons that they learn while being involved in these activities. So if you are a coach, it doesn't have to be fall, if you are a coach, teacher, or a sponsor of any sort, would you please rise and be recognized? Thank you, coaches, sponsors, and teachers for everything that you do. I will not have all the students that are involved come down here, but what I will tell you is we have over 90% of our students every year that are involved in something. And if you look at the amount of kids that we had up here for their academic success, add to it everything that they're involved in outside of the academics, it is absolutely unbelievable. So if you are involved in robotics, FFA, speech, play production, athletics, whatever it is, stand up if you are involved. If you look over there, that is well over 90% of our students. Up on the screen you will notice, and this is not really a surprise because the NSAA does publish this either on their website, and they do have publications that go out via email. So the names that you see up there, these students probably know that they were awarded the NSAA Academic All-State. And in order to be honored for this, you have to have a value to the team, sportsmanship, and also maintain a 3.7 grade point average. So as you can tell on the screen who they are, and when I do call your name, if you were to please come up here and receive the letter and the certificate, that'd be great. So for volleyball this fall, Jalen Arndt. Also for volleyball, Lydia Dozie. This year for football, Ian Rarick. And for play production, Bethany Dowling. And Emily Wisher. Again, students, teachers, sponsors, coaches, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Will come up and honor quiz bowl.
All right. Last year I stood up for the first time in front of adults, which is a whole lot different than standing up in front of students, and tried to wing it and really bombed. So this year I actually wrote out some stuff, and everybody else is standing up and just totally winging it and doing great, but I'm going to read. So, can I have my teams up here, please? High school and junior high. Quiz bowl is kind of an enigma. At best, it's thought of as an elite club, exclusive to the brightest, highest scoring students. At worst, it's thought of as a bunch of nerds memorizing useless facts. While it is a program under the umbrella of high-ability learning, Quiz Bowl is really about enhancing skills that pave the way for higher-order thinking, deeper analysis and application, and most importantly, learning to love learning. Quiz Bowl cultivates listening skills. If you don't listen carefully in a Quiz Bowl match, you miss essential cues. Sharpened listening skills help students excel in class and on standardized tests, such as the ACT and math. You'll see several of them up here who improved in math a lot. ACT, of course, has a direct impact on scholarship dollars parents. Quiz Bowl also develops decision-making skills. Answering types of questions used in Quiz Bowl requires students to think through a series of cognitive concept texts. Quick recognition of implied context is imperative for the development of on-your-feet decision-making. Quiz Bowl is meant to expand horizons. As competitive as Hampton is, our curriculums cannot cover every area of every subject. Quiz Bowl students have the opportunity to learn about a variety of topics, from jazz to architecture, Aztec mythology to Japanese literature, and even current events. Quiz Bowl is competitive and inherently exciting, especially at meets. Many matches are not decided until the last two toss-up questions, and may even hinge on the last bonus question. Quiz Bowl is dynamic and fun. In Quiz Bowl, feedback is immediate. It gives students an opportunity to learn without tests or grades attached. Now I'd like to introduce the members of our junior high team. From the 8th grade, we have Jackson Block. You can step forward if you want. Actually, please step forward. Lillian Dozy. Isaac Millsbury. What are you doing up there? Edward Van Landingham. And Jacob Bushman. Okay, if you want, you can just finally vote. In 7th grade, we have Kaden Block, Raven Dozy, Danielle Dowling, Hayden Ferris, Grant Ferguson, Landon Gardner, Nathan Gertson, Evan Pancoat, Sam Wishman, and Abby Wendt. The junior high has only had one meet so far this year, and we took home the second place trophy, even though we didn't have our whole team and had to start a match over after a challenge. The junior high team would like to thank Ms. Lisa McNish for providing a snack every single practice morning, and Bethany Dowling for practicing with them when I can't be there. All right, now can we, oh, sorry, I should have been on the junior high slide. I didn't tell you to move it that way. So the one side is practicing in the mornings, and then the other side is with the trophy that we, second place trophy we won in Seward. So if you can go on to the next slide, please. This is our high school team, the members of our high school team. To step forward, please, are Bethany Dowling. In 12th grade, Bethany Dowling, Samantha Gertson, Ian Rarick, Elliot Sanderson, and Emily Witchman. Elliot threatened not to come down, so there he is, sitting right up there, where Isaac was sitting earlier. That was he waved. In the 11th grade, we have Christian Eckert. 10th grade, McKenna Fish, Maya Lewis, Sarah Loeb, and Melinda Montoya. In 9th grade, we have Jesse Dowling, Thomas Lawson, Emily Stump, and Clayton Wendt, who isn't here. The high school teams competed in 2 meets so far this fall. During the Concordia, Nebraska English Language Arts Council's 20th Annual Literature Quiz Bowl, Hampton led Fullerton down the garden path, determined to clobber them after they played so well against our volleyball girls earlier that week. So we let them win in the morning, the round robin, which built their confidence up to a rather loud level, and they were pretty sure they were going to take the whole competition, that they didn't have any competition at the meet that day, and we're not being quiet about it at all. So we proceeded to take them to the cleaners in the afternoon. The old team let them get ahead by 40 points and then came back and just lost them on the very last question that they answered correctly. So came out fuming a little bit, talked to the purple team, and the purple team cooperated by beating them thoroughly. Hampton ended up with the championship trophy and the 3rd place in that competition. The second high school meet was at the History and Geography Bowl, also at Concordia University in Seward. And even though we didn't bring any hardware that day, Melinda won the drawing for Comcast. And while we waited at the coffee bar, sorry Thomas dropped to one knee during conversations with several teammates. We still haven't figured out to whom he was proposing. And I didn't get a picture of it either because I said something before I was smart enough to pull my photo. The high school team would also like to thank Lisa McNish for morning snacks and Mr. Halls for driving us to competitions. I would like to thank Bethany Dowling for conducting high school practices when I can't be there. So, in conclusion, we have a plethora of fun in this bowl. That's all.
Thank you, Mrs. Deep and the quiz bowl team. Mrs. Deep officially has her speech written already for activities made it, so for those of you that are coming. Ms. Liberty, you share my sense of humor. Okay, I have a quick recognition from Nurse Angie Clutie before I go on to our last set of medals. Angie could not be with us today, she is home ill, but she did want to do a shout out on the Bloodmobile. We had the Bloodmobile here actually it was here on November 2nd, and it was in our South Gym. It was our goal to collect 25 units of blood, and we're happy to report that we did reach our goal. This means that one of our 2019 graduating seniors will receive a $250 scholarship from the Red Cross. We have not chosen this individual yet or drawn for that individual yet, but we are excited to report that. And Mrs. Hersberg actually overcame her fear. Thank you to you girls that were fanning me as I thought I was going to pass out. I've never given blood before, but if it meant a scholarship for one of my kids, I was willing to do it. So next time, we're working on him. All right, student donors, if you would stand. What? Yeah, you may have to see Mr. Holes in the tutu. I'm not wearing one, I give blood. All right, students that gave that day, real quickly, I just want you to stand because I do think that's a really big accomplishment that you chose to give blood. So I'll read your names. Some of you are standing. Elliot Sanderson, Maya Lewis, Bethany Dowling, Ian Rarick, Jacob Malsbury, Lexi Guyrev, Jake Arndt, Landon Parsley, Brady Clutie, and Emma Hansen. Nice job, you guys. All right, our last set of medals here before we wind down, and then again, I want to remind you, anyone who won a medal, I want you guys to come over here. Let's go right in the middle where the parents are. If the parents don't mind vacating that spot, we'll have the kids line up in the middle, and we'll get the photo for the newspaper and any parents that want to take a photo. Does that sound good, Mrs. Arndt, Mr. Holes? Is this the best section? Okay, we'll report to here. All right, our last set of medals is for the grade assessment. The grade assessment is given in grades 4th through 8th grade, and then also our 10th graders take the grade assessment. We take it in the fall and we take it in the spring. The highest test score you can get on grade is a 9. So we recognize anyone who receives an 8 or a 9 on the grade assessment. And grade stands for the Group Reading Assessment and Diagnostic Evaluation. All right, starting with our 4th graders. Jaden Batencourt. Jaden scored an 8 on his total test, and he scored a 9, which is a perfect score on his listening. Is Jaden's mom in here? I think I saw her come in. Where's she at? There you are. So he should be an outstanding listener, right? Perfect test score. All right, also in the 4th grade, we had Jillian Ferris. Jillian scored a 9 on her total test, so perfect score for her. All right, on to the 6th grade, we had Kobe Bowman. Kobe scored an 8 on his total test score for the grade. Skylar Scheidemann. Skylar scored an 8 on her listening part of that test. 7th graders, I had Grant Ferguson. Grant scored an 8 on the listening, on the total test. It's not on listening, that's not good, that's what I'm saying. Listening, that's one, maybe not. But the total test score on his reading assessment was an 8. Nice job, Grant. Lauren John. Lauren, you scored an 8 on the listening part of that test. See, I'm telling these little tidbits of information to your folks. If you're that good of a listener, then yeah. Congratulations, Lauren. Abby Went. Abby, you scored an 8 on your listening portion of that test. Good job, Abby. 8th graders, Jackson Block. Jackson scored an 8 on his total test. Nice job, Jackson. And our last group is our 10th graders, and several of these guys have been down here already. This is a very talented class of individuals. We have McKenna Clinch. McKenna scored an 8 on her total test, and McKenna also scored an 8 on her listening part of that test. Maya Lewis. Maya scored an 8 on the listening portion of that test. She's got a light up sweater on today. Sarah Logue. Sarah scored a perfect score. She scored a 9 on her total test. Melinda Montoya. Melinda scored an 8 on her total test. And our last medal winner in the 10th grade was Lexi Walensky. And Lexi scored an 8 on the listening portion of her grading assessment. All right, nice job. Let's give these guys a round of applause. All right, you guys can go ahead and have a seat. And that